Okay, I'm gonna put you on some game, and this is also a reminder for myself. But this is going all into how you can really change your life, like actually change your life in today's age in 2026. um, it's time to understand why all scientists, all studies, and all research on the brain mainly the main functions of the brain are pattern recognition. Okay, so we're not gonna get into like the hypothalamus and things like that. We're talking about the brain as one cohesive unit. The brain's ability, the main function and ability is to process patterns. Okay, and in order for your life to change, you're gonna need to understand what patterns are prevalent in your life because a pattern is what causes cycles. Patterns work like this. It creates a shape. This is what your life looks like when it is on autopilot and it works in a pattern. Okay? There are no ways of it breaking this cycle, this pattern. In order to change, you're going to need to take one of these lines up a notch. Let me see if I can draw something really quick. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. And I've put my hair up because I feel like I looked a little bit like my life hasn't changed. Anyway, so this is the pattern. And so this is what your life looks like when you are operating on a pattern. You see how you are inside of this. Okay? Actually, you're not inside of this, but your brain is inside of this. Your consciousness is inside of this. This is your brain. You are the dotted segments. So let's write that down. So the brain is inside of the pattern. You are this point, this point, this point, and this point. This is your brain inside of this box. And you are the one that makes the decision every single day to live your life in a certain sequence, in a certain pattern. Okay? And this is what forms the shape. Your life doesn't have to be like form a square. It could also form a triangle. It can form any shape. But the point is, it is a pattern. In order for you to break that pattern, to break the pattern is to change your life. Okay? So, luckily, you don't have to do all of them at once. To make a new segment, you will need to break one of these lines. So let's say the first line here represents you, I don't know. Let's just say taking a same path. This one is take. Sorry. Let's put A, B, C, and D. Okay. Let's say that line B represents, so equals, same route to work. Same route to work. Okay. So sometime throughout your day, you are taking the same route to work for like weeks on end. Okay. So in order for you to take this segment out, B, you would need to change segment B. So what would you do? Well, what happens when you, let's say you, so hold on. So the action, sorry, I'm gonna take this slow. So this is what you do currently. So this is this is current. Now let's say you take an action. So the action would be, you take action, which would equal different route to work. Okay? So the action would mean different route to work. So your current route is same route to work, which is keeping you in this pattern loop, okay? And your brain also operating on that same in that same pattern as well, because it's going to continue operating that until you yourself make a decision to do something different. So you take the action. Okay, now what's going to happen is, now when you did that, segment D or B did something different as well. Okay, this is what you did to segment B. And also you. So look at that. You took the action, and now segment B, not only does it break the shape, but it has potential to create another path, another timeline, another dimension, another life, a new beginning. Okay? This is somewhat of a blueprint, but this is essentially what's going on, right? And what happens, a series of things happen when you make a new decision, when you decide to break a pattern, you decide to do something new. It's not just the action that changes, but everything changes. That's why I say your life changes. Because the brain that once functioned in this current pattern now also changes. It creates another pathway. Think about it. It's like you create another neural pathway, the same way that when you learn a new subject, when you learn something new, the brain creates more neural pathways and also strengthens older ones. Okay? If you continuously live on repeat in the same pattern, your brain's not going to it's not going to make new neural pathways because it's not learning anything new. You're not giving it anything new to go off of. Okay? So this is how you are able to break patterns within your life to then change it. Because when you change your life, it's just simple as making another decision. This other decision literally changes your entire being from the brain all the way to the inside. Because the brain not only is responsible for the patterns and the daily habits that you do, that you take in your life, right? It's also responsible for regulation, right? How your body, how your nervous system regulates itself. So your brain may be adapted to this current pattern system, which means your nervous system is also attuned to this current routine. So maybe the next time you go on the road, you're like the next time, so let's say you're driving on the road and you're already accustomed to this current pattern. But you decided that you're gonna make this new decision. So while you're on the road, you can feel almost your body wanting to turn to make that turn to go down your regular path. That's what your brain is doing, because that's what your brain does. It automatically adapts to current systems that you've already set up for yourself. You designed that. Your routine, you designed your routine. Even if you think you don't have a routine, you have a routine, but your brain is the one that's operating off of it. You know what I mean? You don't have to really write it down. The decisions that you decide to make every single day that follow a certain specific similar pattern or sequence is a routine. And your brain is just running on autopilot, just continuously doing the same thing, right? So that means your body and your nervous system is also going to operate in that same habitual state. right? So you may have similar feelings about things, you know what I mean? But when you decide to take a new action, that's when everything decides to change from the brain all the way to the nervous system, to the body. And this, over a series of time, is going to change everything. You've already did. One step is all you need to do. One tight diet. Imagine you, okay, so imagine here, right? You decide to change, you decide to take another, right? You decided to, maybe C represents, something else, right? Let's say C then drops down and it just extends D. Now you have, so let me just draw really quick. So let's say instead of and this is gonna be really simple, but instead of, maybe you're someone that um that greets, your boss in the morning, and someone in the morning who doesn't greet you back. You know what I mean? Maybe you're someone like that. You're just like, I just feel like I have to say hello and shit like that, and then they don't greet you back, or maybe you greet the same person but they don't give you the same energy, whatever it is, right? But let's say you do that. You don't do that this time. So that's what C represents. Now this is what happens. Now it just extends. And so now all this open space that you've created for yourself is new life, new energy, new, like, it's space, it's potential for new things to come in. So you're clearing away, so this is like a block. When it's cemented together, it creates a blockage. Nothing can come in and nothing can come out. When you're in this current pattern, there's nothing new that can come in. Your consciousness cannot expand. No new finances, no new ideas, no new anything can come in, because why would it? There's no, it's all blocked off. They're all walls. So when you decide to do something new, you're opening up the wall, and now something can come in here, can come through this way. When you decide to do something different, again, you're creating more space for more potential. Do you get it? And the reason why I use such like tiny examples, it may seem like tiny examples, is because that's all it takes. Literally. You can't expect for your life to go from 0 to 100. Okay? Your life changes with every tiny little thing you decide to do differently the next time. Maybe even it can even go as tiny as being, instead of greeting someone with a regular hello, how are you doing? You say, hey, what's up? Maybe you say that. Maybe you say, instead of saying, hey, how are you doing today? You say, isn't it it's a great morning today. Don't you think? Whatever. You're using new, so what's going on is you're learning to use your brain in a new way. You're not rewiring it, but you're adding something to it. You're creating new space. You're creating those new neurons, and you're introducing something new to it. So your body introducing new stimulus, you're trying something new, you're taking risk, right? And all when we think about these terms, we think about something huge. Taking risk, I think of, stocks, trading, quitting your job, taking a chance on whatever idea that you want, whatever business, creating a new business. Um, Risk also from an individual level could look like, talking to someone new, saying hello to random strangers. But all of those things are exactly what it, from the smallest level, like I just said, could even be, if you're someone that puts your pants on from right to left, you can decide to do left to right one time. Anything like that, bro, it doesn't need to be big. Those are the things that are going to change your actual life. One step at a time. You don't have to take a step. You can literally just point your toe in the forward direction without stepping. You just put your toe, like you just put your toe in the direction that you want to go. You don't have to take a full step. You know what I mean? But that's what it takes. That's all it is. Like if you have bigger goals, then you know that you're gonna have to take bigger steps, right? Like actual steps, right? But if you're someone that just wants to change maybe the trajectory of your life, or you're tired of you're getting a little bit bored, and you're like, man, I need something new in my life, but you don't want to be something. You don't want it to be something toxic. Well, if you do, I mean, you can even use this to create a new toxicity, I guess. You know, maybe you're tired of old toxicity. You know what I mean? So maybe you're like, okay, I want to elevate. I want a new elevated type of toxicity. You know what I mean? Whatever. Um, whatever your your desires are. I'm not here to judge. But yeah, I mean, this is literally it. Um, now the next question that you need to consider is, how long does it take for someone to recognize your pattern? Because what if you're just like, okay, you're sitting here, maybe you're thinking about, okay, well, what's something that's been living autopilot in my life that seems like either a big deal? Does it have to be a big deal? Does it have to be, whatever? Like, what is it? What do I have to change? Why do I have to change it? Okay, you may be having all those questions. Okay, first of all, take a deep breath. Second of all, 4 weeks. Give yourself a month. To answer the first question, give yourself 1 month. I feel like to break patterns, to break cycles, and not immediately. There's no rush. You're going to spot it. 2 to 4 weeks. If you are making the decision to consciously become aware of the things in your life that are running on autopilot, it's only going to take you about 2 to 4 weeks to catch on. And once you do catch on, then you make a decision to do something different. Okay? It takes a level of creativity, and you're practicing that as well. You're getting back to your creativity to do something different. 1 second. Okay, so 2 to 4 weeks. Now, does the pattern have to be something big or small? So once you recognize a pattern, does it have to be big? So it depends on you. Depends on you. It depends on, is this pattern serving you right now? Is it going to get you towards your goals or not? I'll give you an example. So there was a recent pattern in my life, and I usually like, for me, patterns are with the bigger things in life. To me, it's like friends and habits. So if it's like smoking, drinking, substance habits, like habits that are not gonna really help me fulfill my goals, something that I can't really get a control on, that's something I know I'm gonna have to stop for however long until I get to where I need to be. And I'm willing to do that. So you're gonna have to be willing to sacrifice the things that you love doing and put it on the side for right now. Okay. Um, so also, when it comes to friends and like love interests, those are huge. Okay. So this, so I see friends. Okay. I want to say this. You can have friends in your life. Okay. But it is when they become a distraction, that is when you will be sucked into a pattern. Okay, let me kind of break that down. So, I used to have a homie, and there was no pattern with him because we were both kind of like in the same, like, we liked being on our shit. So, we had healthy distance. It wasn't like, hey, let's go out every single Saturday. Let's hang out here. Let's just do something. Like, let's just fuck around and waste our time and do something. Like, we both weren't on that. So there was no distraction, and that was okay. Um, Recently though, I had met someone who I became distracted by because it was a new potential friend, a new person that they were giving me mixed signals. I was picking up mixed signals, and that became a distraction. The initial distraction turned into a pattern. It dragged me into a pattern because the confusion, it sends you back and forth, back and forth. You're on a high, then you're on a low. You're on a high, and you're on a low with this person, and that's a pattern. So you're going back and forth. It's like ping pong, right? So high, low, high, low, high, low. You're not breaking out of anything. You're just going zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. You're not going higher, or you might be going lower. So those types of situations are when you do want to like cut that shit out, cut it short, right? So if you're like talking to someone new, if you're someone that you're maybe found someone on Hinge and they're being like a dating app or something, I don't know, they're being wishy-washy, or maybe you met someone at a, I don't know, a cafe, a bar, whatever your situation is, and they're being wishy-washy with you, and it's sending you on a pattern, on a loop. It's literally bringing you into a loop. That is it. That needs to go. You need to cut that thing off, because your body and your brain is going to attach to that before it can realign with the goal that you want for your life, with the change that you want for your life. Okay? So you can have a healthy level of toxicity and still get your work done, but when it's something that just doesn't allow you, like, don't just throw it away. Discard it. Okay? Stay on your path. Stay on your lane, stay in your track. Change your life, right? That's the goal. That's your goal. Okay. So to wrap it all up, to change your life is to recognize your pattern. Okay? To recognize a pattern takes about 2 to 4 weeks. Okay? A pattern it does not matter about how big or small it is. The only thing that you need to be concerned of is if it is keeping you stuck in a loop. Is it keeping you running on autopilot? Are you burned out? Are you bored? All those things are indications that you need a change in your life. And that can only come through you. So you need to take some sort of action to do something different. Okay? Doesn't matter how big or small. Just do something different. Okay. I think that's it. Yeah. Final thing. Final thing. Distraction. As long as the distraction doesn't pull you into a pattern, I feel like all distractions might pull you into a pattern, into another pattern that are not going to get you to your change. You can change and then fall into another distraction or pattern and then change again. Like that's normal, right? But you don't want this new pattern. You don't want to break out of a pattern only for this new distraction to sink you right back into your old pattern. If this new distraction puts you right back down into this other pattern that you just broke out of, that one needs to go immediately. But if when you break out and you find something new from this breakout, that means you'll probably receive a new financial offer, a new position, you'll find a new partner, you'll find something new will come in. And they're gonna meet you at this new level. So if they create a new distraction, creates a new pattern at your new height, at your new level, that's okay. Until you recognize that you want to change again, boom, cut it out, new level. Okay? Like keep going like that. Okay? So yeah, that's what I got. Okay? So thank you so much for listening. I will catch you in the next one. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.